of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you, dear sir.
Morning, Saturday morning, game day, rain, hail, or shine. We're out there renting, leasing, selling.
Game on Saturday, and the numbers are big.
Welcome to Morning Minutes. Myself, Michael Bergio, and Mark Novak, and we're going to be talking about getting your property rented. You need a property ninja. And a good, well, Mark, we're just saying before, in this type of market where it's quite tough, this is where a good leasing agent, residential, commercial, really stands out and makes a difference for your property. Why is that, Mark? What do we mean? Help the people.
You know what, Michael? It's a great market, guys, for making lemonade out of lemons.
Yes.
If you're, this is even for tenants as well. So if you're a tenant and you're looking for a really good value property, if you're wanting to downsize, save money, if you're wanting to upsize, save money, you may actually find you're getting 30%, 20% more property just because you're willing to get out of your place and hunt down a new one. But for rental agents, for leasing agents in commercial and residential, now we're seeing the agents that are very good at what they do, getting stuff leased quickly. We're seeing agents that weren't particularly good operators blowing out with days on market. So that's when a landlord, basically can't get their property rented. Now, if you're a landlord, you often won't know, is it your agent or is it the market or is it your property? You don't really know what's to blame. So you've got to make sure you have a really good agent on it.
It's so true. Like, it's so easy to say, it's so easy to be like, oh, it's a crap market out there. But yes, but what we find is when, I'm just going to reverb in my, in a bad market, it's not that things don't get rented. They do. It's just really the price that you need to adjust. I find in Australia, Sydney, Northern Beaches in particular, especially in residential, everything's always rentable in all markets. It's more the price mechanism and also going a bit heavier on the marketing. But I don't think, regardless of the market, days on market should blow out because there's always a lot of demand on the Northern Beaches. It's just the pricing fluctuates. And when things blow out, it's when the pricing or the marketing is not on point. In a better market, you'll get more money and you probably do less marketing to get it rented. In a tough market, you need to do more marketing, more brain power behind it, a better strategy, more creative thinking, and that will equal the same or a little bit less on price. But the days on market should be very similar, in my opinion. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, you know what? It's the age-old thing, guys. When you're reviewing the leasing of your property, look at these things: price, product, and promoting. They're the three things you've got to look at when the leasing of your property. If your agent is not having that conversation with you in today's market, you got the wrong agent. It's price, it's product, and it's promotion. They are the things that the agent, the landlord, together must be constantly reevaluating. If they're evaluated correctly, accurately, and well, the property will rent straight away. If they're not done, and that it can take 2 to 4 weeks before the agent and the landlord look at each other and say, what do we do? You've just ripped up $500 a week. That's $2,000. You've just ripped up $1,000 a week. That's $4,000 of rent because you didn't have that important conversation with an experienced agent saying, have we got the price right? Have we got the promotion right? And have we got the product right? Let's have some examples of that, Michael.
Yes. So obviously with the pricing, we do the comparables, but also sometimes in a changing market, we don't have the comparables because the data you're looking at is in a different market, especially the first couple of weeks of a transitional market. So it really will determine how many people came through at open is the reflection. Don't just, this sucks with the ear. I may change to TV.
The audio is bad. So that first one's P, which is price, which is what you're talking about. So P's pretty much The first P being pricing. When you go to the market, look around the market, have a look at what's just rented that's similar. And if you're not doing that, it may mean you are going to under rent the property, but lately it may mean you are going to over rent the property. Now, if the rent's over the market, above the market, then that's going to take 2 to 4 weeks to recognise, and you're burning up your money. So have a good look. Now, with COVID-19, everyone's got to be honest with their landlords. The landlords have got to be honest with themselves. The reality is, with COVID-19, your rents are probably going to be more than 10% under what they were a year ago. Straight away, agents got to have that hard conversation with you to say, look, the rent you were getting is not going to happen, and the rent you're going to be getting is this. That's going to put a lot more money in your landlord's pocket, believe it or not, because the vacancy won't be 3 to 6 weeks, you know?
And that's the thing. A lot of agents don't have the confidence to tell it straight to their owner. So they say, let's try it at that rent for a couple of weeks and see how we go. But the reality is the rental market has come down, and by you not having it talking straight with the landlord and saying, let's give it a couple of weeks, you're burning $2,000 out of their pocket. So not only in that example, 500, not only are you eventually going to rent it for less, you've wasted a month as well. So you've just got to be straight. You've got to realize you may not have the comps to support it, but you've got to say, you've chosen us as your agent. You got to trust us. I'd rather potentially rent it less for $10 a week, but get it rented straight away than having it empty for a month that will cost you a whole 4 weeks and rent it for less. So go, what's worse? And just do a 6-month lease. What's worse, Mr. Landlord, renting it for $10 less or losing $2,000? So, but you really know that's where the market is.
But Michael, most agents don't have the senior knowledge that you've got. Most agents don't have the senior knowledge that I've got. Most agents don't have the balls to have that conversation because they think they may lose the client. So they'd rather the market do the testing and blame the market than have that hard conversation with their landlord up front to say, look, I don't want to burn 4 weeks of your money by the property being vacant. Let's be real and let's do this now and get money in your pocket, the property rented in 7 days' time. Let's not go through this process. Now, if the landlord wants to go through that process, you've actually had the hard conversation. And then when it gets to 2 weeks or 3 weeks, there'll be that aha moment where the owner will go, shit, they were actually right. So it's better to have that conversation. Now that's the price P. What about presentation P? Does the property need carpet done to it, paint done to it? Let's talk about that.
100%. So now's a great time. Tradies have time. They need business. Now's a great time to go through that property and see painting, new carpet. But the one thing that
tax deductions, 30th of June,
the worst, especially this time of year, just before financial year. But you know what? Agents struggle having the balls to go to the owner, because the owner goes, well, how much more rent will I get if I spend that? The answer is you're not going to get more rent. It's more lettable. You're going to get a better tenant and rent faster. It's not you just paint the property, you get $10 more in rent. It's not how you should be looking at it. You should be looking at it, the better the property presents, the more people through, and you may get more rent because you got more competition. But don't build that false hope or expectation in their head. Just say, this is $1 million asset. You need to invest. You wash your car, don't you? You service your car, and that goes down in value. What have you done for your property?
Yep. You know what? And some of these owners have their property rented for $50,000 a year. That's $250,000 they've taken from tenants over a 5-year period. You got to plug a little back in, and you're right. It builds up that asset as well.
Perfect. And also with presentation, online, digital. So virtual furniture is a big one. Let's say the tenant's in there and they got a lot of crap. Virtual furniture.
Let's go over to promotion. This is my favorite one. So we've talked about price, guys. The 3 P's of not getting a property rented. Just if you've just tuned in. First P is price. Are you at market? Second P is
promotion.
Product. Is the property can anything be done? Carpet, paint, quick fixes to make it look spunky, to get it rented. Price, product, and now promotion. Is your agent promoting it correctly? Over to you again.
Yep, promotion's a big one. So one thing I love is virtual furniture, and this can apply if the property is vacant, more so when it's vacant. You want to attract people into it. So spending $50, $60, it's cheaper than fitting it out or getting a stylist in there. And you really need to draw eyeballs to the listing. An empty room does not draw eyeballs. That's for one. Even things like professional photos. I think rental market, more in particular, have fallen into this trap that they don't believe like it's worthy of professional photograph. It's bullshit. Like one, they can last or the whole life of the property, and two, your asset is sometimes only as good as the tenant. So why would you not spend on professional photographs, a floor plan, a 3D floor plan? It's $1 million or whatever the investment is. Investment, treat it like it. So I'm a big believer in getting that done. You may be lucky enough to get it from the person you bought it from, but sometimes, like whenever you've done upgrades, get the promotion right. Virtual furniture. And then also,
and that virtual, you're right, that virtual furniture, it's going to last you for every leasing of the property. So ladies and gentlemen, if you've got a one bedroom unit that's vacant, if you're putting up vacant photos in 2020 and you don't want to spend the money as a landlord in 2020, big mistake. And look, we've got landlords that we offer the package to. We've got landlords that don't want to do it. They don't have the budget for whatever reason. But ladies and gentlemen, in 2020, there is no reason to have photos with a vacant property when it costs you $50 to get it furnished. Digital furniture can be placed in there. $50. It is worth it. And you can reuse that. If you use those photos over 3 leasings, that's about $18 per time you've used it. It's nothing. And it's tax deductible.
Yep. One of the big ones, which is more of a last resort. So this is really going to appeal to a lot of people out there who's had their property on it's empty for a month or two. Now, what works really well is, which isn't recommended, but it is recommended. I've used it on my own and a lot of buddies who, when they've come to me saying it's been empty for 12 weeks, what do I do? I don't necessarily want to drop the rent any lower. We've already done it 3 times. Now, a really good eye-catching promotion is first week of rent free or reduced bond. I'd rather do the first week free of rent or half rent for the first couple of weeks, and we just do a longer lease, or we up the price. I've had a buddy, we've upped the price and we've said first week free. A lot of people renting are leaving week to week. Moving costs are difficult. Even doing a structured bond, because a lot of people, they're coming out of a rental, they don't have that bond money, and then they got to pay another bond. And
now, is that price or is that promotion? That's probably promotion.
Yeah, it's more promotion because sometimes we equal the same price. It's more that promotional tweak, which works very effective. And if no other property has that deal, then you're going to get bodies. Like a couple examples, they were on the market for the 10th week and a 13th, 12th week. They had no groups through. They did that tweak. They actually upped the price and did first week free. They had 12 groups through and got it rented. So it works.
Okay. So guys, if you can't get your property rented, and this goes for getting probably any product sold in the world, you've got to look at the deadly P's, the 3 deadly P's, the instant killers: price, product. Can you improve the product? Promotion. We're talking about promotion at the moment. So another promotion way is, you know what? It's some of the stuff is good old fashioned stuff. A signboard in front of the property.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, a good looking signboard, a big signboard that's promoting from the outside. Some of the stuff, including promotion, can be a letterbox drop to local letterboxes. I'll tell you why local letterboxes are still good these days. These are the people that vouch for the area. These are the people that enjoy and love the area so much they're happy to buy or rent in that street. So even getting into the letterboxes of properties around for rent, can often be enough to spark that person that ignores signs or that ignores realestate.com.au. But they get into their letterbox a unit that's better value than where they are, or people have a sphere of influence. This is one that I love. When you go to a funeral director told me, he said, Mark, the average number of people that attend a funeral is 80. 80. So that is an average number for attending a funeral. Now, what I call that is a sphere of influence. A sphere of influence is how many people are going to turn up at my funeral. Now, if that number is 80, that means every letterbox that you hit around your area, for each person, if they read what goes in their letterbox, will have an influence of 80 people on average around them that they could say, hey, come and look at this property for rent. Maybe commercial, maybe residential, but they are lovers of the area, and they have a sphere of influence on an average of 80 people. Very important.
Very true. And lots of people on this morning. It's really great. Lee Russ, Brett, James, Bill, Nikki Parker, Michael Edwards, always very good. Also, Michael, the internet's not ready yet at the bunker. So soon, buddy. I know you've been waiting a while for that one. Luke Moroney, always good to have you on. We had a great show with you earlier in the week. Jeff, lots of people. We really appreciate it. 7:45 every morning. We're live. We're giving great content. Well, we believe great content. But I think with a lot of the regular viewers we're getting and the views, I think people can agree. They're voting with their time, and giving your time is the biggest thing you can do. So we really appreciate it. We love doing this. And we're always open to topics as well, guys. If there's anything you want us to speak about, just shoot it in the comments, private message us. If you know anyone that you think you should come on, we've had some great interviews as well. Feel free to hit us up. What else, Mark, on the rental?
It's great. So this morning, I guess we can probably wrap up a little bit. What we spoke about this morning, guys, was what was the subject?
Getting a property rented, rental, commercial, residential, in a bad market. What to look out for landlords and
good agent,
for agents,
bad agent. Yeah, the difference. Okay, and now it's that difference is huge. That difference you can see. You know what? It's like I always look at it as when the tide's moving quickly. Like with fit, like it's like a fish in a pond. Yeah. When the strong swimmers will really stand out when that tide's really moving, and the tide's really been moving fast. It's been very tumultuous, very turbulent time, and I've noticed the good real estate agents, the good operators in the market at the moment, because they're strong swimmers, because they're good at what they do, they're really shining. And that's part of today's topic with price. If your property's not rented, your agent must be having the 3P conversation. Ask them about the 3P conversation. Price, let's evaluate the price. Product, let's get the property looking better. And promotion, let's get the promotion looking better. Now, one would say that you've got to get the promotion right, the product right, and the promotion right before you turn around and nail the price as well. But I would say get all of them right up front, and it's going to be making life a lot more simple rather than a slow hurting burn.
Yep, and the biggest tip is, yes, it's a tough market, but things are being rented. So letting your property sit there for 1, 2, 3 months is just irresponsible and bad for an agent to allow that, because there are people looking. It's just getting those 3Ps right, and you will get a deal done on your property.
It's not necessary to have the vacancy, but you know what, Michael, and everyone should know this figure. Vacancies were sitting probably at about around Sydney, certainly on the northern beaches. Vacancies were probably sitting around sort of 5 to 8 days. And when we say vacancy, it's the time from when your old tenant moves out to when your new tenant moves in. It was very rapid. It was quick and it was easy. That's why people were in love with residential. With commercial, where would you put vacancy days at, Mr. Burgios?
6 months for retail. 6 months.
Okay, so that's where it was. Now, post-COVID, Vacancy for residential has blown out probably to 14 to 21 days, more like that 20 to 21. What about for commercial?
I reckon because obviously I reckon it'll blow out to 9 months, if not longer.
Okay. So this conversation we're having at the moment is probably the most important conversation in the real estate industry for rentals. It is absolutely crucial.
It is. So anything else you want to add on to that, Mark, or we'll wrap that up?
Go hard.
Beautiful. Enjoy your Saturday, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Back Monday.
Bye, beautiful people.
Bye-bye.